Mike's coming in. Okay, got it. All right, so we are now recording. Good morning, everyone. Make sure your hair is adorable for everyone out in the ether world.
I got a great view today too.
Yeah, you have a great view. Okay, well, Jamie loves to show us where she is in the world. Welcome to NW2. Oh, that is a great view.
Where are you?
Niagara Falls.
She's always somewhere. Shireen's usually somewhere too. So anyway, welcome to NW2. Network equals net worth. You guys named this group almost 20 years ago. The Women's Press called me the other day to tell me that we have a big anniversary of being the best place for women, for people in general to start a business. So that award was given to us a long time ago, and they called to remind me that we're still it. We're still one of the best places to start your business. And that was from 2009 was the first time we were best voted that. So thanks for being here. We've got some new people that you should meet. Tina, I'm going to start with you. Here's how it works. We just do a quick round robin, letting people introduce themselves, giving their information, and then we get into class. That also gives us a chance for all of our not morning people to drop in.
Great, wonderful. Well, thanks for the invite again.
Good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
My name is Tina Krebs. I'm a real estate agent with the DeRoche Realty Group. Maybe you've heard of them, and EXP Realty. And I am a realtor in Minnesota and just loving life and been doing it for about almost 7 years now.
Good. And you're having like a stellar year.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
No matter what's happening out in the world, don't let people tell you real estate is not where it is. It is definitely where it is. I got tips. Talk to me.
I got tips. Yeah. And if you have other things, Tina, put them in. So if you have a Facebook, Instagram, all of you, I should see those start piling into the chat box, because that is how you can support each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So welcome to class, Bankable content. There's a lot for you specifically in here.
Thank you. Yeah.
I knew you were coming, so I have some other ideas for you.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Beth. Oh my gosh. Well, probably, and you've probably been here the longest.
I'm kind of an old timer, and I haven't been here in many years. And Nikki just invited me to stop by. So hi. I've had my own business for over 20 years as a massage therapist, and I'm also a performing artist. So constantly doing things in mostly local theaters around town here. I've most recently been working at the History Theater, doing some amazing productions. But anyway, what do you want to know? That's about it. I mean, my business right now is I shut down during COVID, thinking I was going to shut down for good. And then I didn't. I had a friend who's a chiropractor who said, people still want you. Why don't you just come back? And it actually has felt really good to go back. So I am working with Chris Bierbauer at Bierbauer Chiropractic in his office right near the Guthrie on 10th in Minneapolis. So I have a lovely studio there, and I'm back in business. And just with that and weaving it with doing some touring and work with some of the theaters in town, I'm good.
I love it. Well, so are you back to Meraki? I mean,
I'm still Meraki Massage, M-E-R-A-K-I, Meraki Massage.
Okay, put it in the chat box.
Okay, I'll just put it in my website. You can check it out.
Yeah. Because we can book from there. Mm-hmm. And yeah. Well, that may have been a call to action for me. Okay. Welcome back.
I'm still there.
Welcome back. Carolyn, give us your update. We haven't seen you all year.
I know, I got sidetracked with a little cancer problem. So that was that sidetracked me, but I am back. I am a spiritual counselor, and through Loyola Spirituality Center in St. Paul, but looking to strike out on my own a bit more. And I also lead retreats and workshops. I have a lot of content that has just been sitting there for me to do something with and turn it into more passive income is the hope.
Good, good. Well, we're glad you're here. And you have a lot of really good content. I mean, useful things. So yeah, I'll be excited to watch that come forward. That'll be very fun. All right, Shireen, welcome. It's your first time. Is this your first time?
This is my first time.
Okay, well, we just go around and introduce ourselves.
This isn't her first time. Shireen's been to these. No, she's been to
okay,
these
well, it's been a
couple
while.
of times. Like,
oh, has she? Okay, well,
yeah.
I'm blowing it.
It's been a while.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you, Mickey. So for those who I haven't met yet, my name's Shireen Hemingway. I'm a millennial mogul from Myrtle Beach. I own a media firm called Activate Your Inner Desires. I just have a passion for helping small businesses, entrepreneurs, and churches just build that online social media brand, whatever that may be, from podcasting to websites, and then all kind of social media management. So that's my daytime passion. And then I call it my nighttime passion is writing. I'm a published author and a poet. So that's kind of my creative outlet outside of building websites and social media branding all day. But it's a pleasure to be here.
We're so glad to have you. And definitely you have some poetry lovers in this group. So if some massive ones, Karen Carson is also a published poet as well. So, but yes, if you have links to that work, we would all love to read what you've written.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah, put it in the chat. That's a big win here.
And buy
Kathy,
it.
And what?
And buy it. And buy what she's written.
Oh,
yes, we would love to buy what you've written. Yes, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Kathy Corkard, today you knew I was looking for you on today's topic. Give us your introduction.
My name is Kathy Corkard. My business is called Everything Beautiful. I'm a selection designer, which makes me a little bit different from an interior designer because I don't help you pick out furniture or curtains or any of that stuff. I help you pick out all the things that don't move. So think plumbing, cabinets, flooring, paint, light fixtures, all the fun stuff. Well, at least I think it's fun. So I just help take the stress and all of the massive amount of decisions off your plate. Not entirely, because we're a team. Life is busy, like crazy busy. Considering possibly even pulling somebody in part-time for 3 hours, 5 hours a week, because I'm drowning in the paper stuff. And that's the part I don't particularly like. And Mickey told me once that I can pay somebody a reasonable dollar amount and charge my hourly rate, and then I'm still getting some money, and then I'm able to do the things that I love, and they can do the things that they love, and it's a win-win.
So you're holding me to it, is what I hear.
Well, I'm nervously holding you to it because it feels very scary to give away. I'm becoming profitable, and it feels scary to give that away. But I also realize that if I don't give away some of the work, I can't take on more.
Well, I think that's a question that everybody has, right? About how do you grow and what's there. So I'm going to come back to that question after we get done with, I'm going to write it down on my list, because I think hiring is always something that we're all looking at. And I think the group will probably want to respond to that.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'll write that question down. Mike Welton, you just had a huge weekend. Welcome back. Give us your update and put your info on the side.
Okay, I'm Mike Welton, art.com, my website. I'm an oil painter, acrylic painter, fine art. And yeah, Mickey went to my open studio. It's called Art of World. It's every year, third weekend in May. And so right now I'm just following up on emails and trying to decipher email because I let people write them down, which is a mistake. You should write email sometimes. And just going over people that would be my niche and contacting them and stuff. So there's a lot of organization contacts that I need to make and stuff. But there are like a couple commissions bubbling up, and so that look, for sure. So, and I do commissions of like what people find from their families and friends that they really love, like places that you've always gone to, or things that bring up spirit or memories and stuff. And a lot of my commissions are doing paintings of these places, because it kind of hits upon their emotional side when they look at these paintings and stuff. So,
and you do sign painting like nobody's business. So if you haven't, so for those of you who haven't clicked on Mike's work, do. And for those of you who maybe watch my personal life, you see a lot of Mike. We lovingly call it our Mike Welton dining room, which is now moved, to a couple of different rooms. But so Mike is an artist that I personally appreciate a lot. But I got to give you some street cred. Can I take 1 second to give you some street cred here? Mike went through and redid his studio to build this vignette, right? To paint it differently, to upgrade the couch, to change the experience. Was I the only person that noticed that, or did other people notice it too?
Well, they didn't say they noticed it, but it helps sell these prints that I decorated the space with. And I think, between the color and then if you've ever been to IKEA, they do these little rooms. So I had fun doing like a little room, and it just, so people without asking were subconsciously looking and seeing how it could fit in their space. Right. So it did ultimately sell more prints than it would have.
If we look right behind Jamien's head right now, on do you see how there's 3 images behind her on the wall? That's exactly what Mike did, is he set up 3 images there. She's going to show us, right? So he showed on a wall what it looked like with 3 prints next to each other. And then that subconsciously got people to go, oh, I should buy 3. So yeah, definitely going to give you some street cred on that.
Thanks.
So you rocked it. You rocked it. Okay. Jamien, give us your update. You're in Niagara Falls.
Yes, I'm in Niagara Falls. My first time on the Canada side.
Oh yeah, I haven't been on the Canada side. No, I have. Okay.
It's prettier.
It's prettier.
Way prettier. Way prettier.
Yeah. So on the Canada side, I've been all through Canada, but never been through to Niagara Falls. So yes, it was very pretty. And yeah, so update. Things are very, very busy and crazy in life. So for those of you who don't know me, I am probably a serial entrepreneur. My base business is real estate, but I'm a private chef and I cook for some NBA, NFL players. Well, I mainly curate experiences with food and all kind of other things. We just are buying a farm with Shireen, and a year ago, me and Shireen also started a investment group for women, just breaking some generational curses in our community. And yeah, so I do a bunch of stuff. And
yeah, and you this is your first season with the boats.
Yeah, it's been hell.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Did I see that they didn't start?
Well, we had an engine bust on one of the drivers busted the engine, so that boat was down. And then we had another one, like the starter went out in the middle of the water. We've had the boat sink a couple times because it was just figuring out the weight of people, and it's just moving up. It's more work than I wanted it to be, but we'll figure it out. I think we're going to consolidate the boats and buy one big boat to do like bigger numbers and that type of stuff. I think we all are kind of realizing that that's what we probably want to do. There's a lot of competition here, but also it's the start of the summer. So we're trying to figure out, it just isn't, yeah, it's a lot of work for thus far what the return is.
And that, I can't wait to see that content of what not to do in a boat business. Or
yeah, maybe don't do it. I mean, it's not, I mean, the benefit is that we own them out. So it's not like we're making boat payments and every month kind of losing money. I did buy them right. The things that have gone wrong is just kind of some trial and error. Like, even though the boat says, oh, you can put 12 people on, well, 12 people also still have to meet a weight requirement. So one time we had 10 people on, but a couple of the people probably could have been 2 people. And right. So therefore, then the boat sunk. And then not only, like, even when you do that to compensate for people being upset or mad, then you just refund everybody, but then you still have to execute the boat. You still have to, we just have had to do those type of things. Or we had a group they probably brought 10 coolers on of food. And I'm like, okay, even though there's only 9 of you, like, your food is another 300 pounds. Like, we got to take some of the food off, or just compensating some of those things has been just really difficult. And I think I'm realizing how much people don't want to work. That's the other thing is drivers is, even though I'm paying for their license, for them to go to school, that type of stuff, and we have a couple people, they just never want to, people just right now do not want to go to work.
Yeah. Well, again, these are all the lessons, right?
Yeah.
All the lessons on the story of right, building multiple businesses. That's the joy of serial business, right? Of trying on different things. That's actually what I love about this group, is that all of us are having very similar but very different things that we're learning.
It's crazy. But the bigger thing is that I think, like, going into this year and like now, I'm gonna really be concentrating on just marketing on a higher level. And I'm really trying to work in my budget to pay a full service, a full length top marketing team. I think it will change the trajectory of what I have going on, and me not being so frustrated when things don't work out. Part of those is because just that there's just a lack of the push there. And because the lack of the push isn't there, or the continuity of the push and that type of stuff. So just figuring out this year, how can I really capitalize on getting marketing and media at a higher level. I think I've kind of pieced it together, and that doesn't work. And I'm not going to do the work. I do realize that that's not my strong suit. I'm very good at talking about like what I'm doing and showcasing those pieces of it. But even those is just when I feel like it. Sometimes I'll go a week without posting anything about my business, and then I'll post stuff every day for a week. So that consistency isn't working, and that consistency isn't, and it's also not working for me to just pay people to do one-offs of things. I just need somebody to kind of take it on, pay them at a top level, and then move forward from there.
Yeah, I'm going to give you guys the superpower of today's class out of that, which is, right, the superpower of the day is intent marketing, right? Really understanding the intent of your marketing. And I think that's really also what you're saying, right? Using, what you're finding is you need the push of media coming towards you to kind of help it, but really it's the intent of that. iPhone 3, who are you, and can you say hello?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Okay. Well, whoever's on iPhone 3, when you're ready to check in, let us know. If you're not figuring out the buttons yet, we love it. Or you can put it in there. Janet Mills, and then A Little Dirt Don't Hurt is after that. Give us a check-in.
Hi, everybody. I have Mills Design, which is a print graphic design firm. And I have so much to learn. I've done it for 26 years, but I just have so much to learn. I've just been really, really, really busy. And I think the beauty that we have is the flexibility to decide what we're going to do. That also means we have to resurface and work on things that we aren't doing. So I think flexibility is our strength and can be a weakness, but it's our strength. I like what Jamie and Kathy are saying about there's some things that we aren't as fast at that someone else could be faster. And then we can do the things that we are fast at and good at. And then the other thing is I've worked on my own for 26 years. And so kind of learning to ask for help on like IT things and everything. So that's my check-in. Life's good.
Good, good. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. I got to see you this month. That was nice.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I got to see Jamie and I got to see you and I got to see Danny over at King's event. So
yeah,
and Karen, got to see Karen.
That was awesome, 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 awesome. And I was humbled by how much work that must have been. Beautiful event.
King was from our last summer's cohort, and Jamie was, and now this year, Shireen will be in this year's cohort, but it was a really great ending to a summer of hard work. I mean, that they really brought it. They really brought it. So thanks for coming to that event.
My pleasure.
Do appreciate it. Okay, a little dirt don't hurt. Danielle Dixon, give us your quick check-in. We thought you weren't going to make it. We're glad you're here.
Oh yeah, I have to leave in a little bit, but I thought I'd come and at least check in. I am working on a new art project with fake flowers. And I've been at Girl Scout camp. So I've been a Girl Scout instead of working on my business.
Okay, you're allowed. You're allowed. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. We're glad to even see you. Karen Carson, do you have a quick check-in for us?
Sure, I'm recovering from my second booster shot. And we had so much fun things. I mean, King's event was just amazing. And I'm so happy that he got that recognition and that all those people were there that were important to him, very much so. And I'm putting together some of the pieces you gave me for this summer 2022 cohort. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And basically, I'm just trying to be here.
Good. That's sometimes is good enough. That is good enough. Well, I'm going to open this up to the group to answer the question for Kathy, because I think there's a lot of insight here around hiring, around having someone else here. Kathy, I'm going to rephrase the question before I get into our regular content of the Mickey advice. So let me, go back. Right. And here's the advice, right? You're going to grow. Every one of you is going to grow. You're going to need someone to help you. And in that growth, you're going to need to pay them. And the idea is to marry the position with somebody who loves to do that task, right? But here's the other part that I'm hearing from you. So I want some clarification, is they're a billable hour. So it's not that we are expecting you to take less so that you can pay them. A lot of the things in your business model are a billable hour. Were you thinking that you didn't have to bill out for them? Oh, you got to unmute.
I'm not currently billing for any of the administrative tasks that I do. So when I'm adding your selection, so basically when I meet with people, you pick out 4 different kinds of tile. I add those to a sheet, a program that allows me to track them, to put the price, a picture of it, so that when you have all of your selections made, I hand that off to you and say, here is all of your magic. You either know what to order or I know what to order. Your contractor knows what to order. It has model numbers and prices and sizes and all the information that's really important when you build it. But I don't bill any of those hours. I'm only billing design hours. I'm only billing when we are selecting things.
Yeah, you got to update that, because we are billing for all the magic. And so it's really looking at how we would talk to somebody about that, to go, hey, here are the hours that we're together. And then it looks like I'm going to need about another 5 hours on the back end. So you need to charge for the front end and the back end.
Do I charge different prices for that? Because I feel like
No.
I am worried about the amount of hours that it takes to make all the magic.
Yeah. Welcome to what it is to be you.
Good point.
And I'm gonna open that up to the whole group, because this is where the magic of your mastermind is here. So I'll let everyone. Janet,
I'm dying to say something. First of all, I feel your pain, because I feel the same thing. I'd have to charge a lot to do things. But on the other hand, if I were getting Kathy Course Guide, I'd be like, yes, I want all of her. I wouldn't want you just to choose stuff and not be organized and not have that paperwork part and have that just evaporate and not be done. Like we need you to do that part too. So then we need to pay it. We can't just have you do the selections and just, and not do the other part. So it's all part of it.
Tina, I think you have something to add to that. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just think that it's really important to value yourself and the time that you put into it and your expertise, and people will pay for that. And if you present it in such a way that, you're good at this and you know exactly what people are wanting and how you can organize all of that, people will clamor to that, because there's so many people out there that do it, pardon my French, half-assed. And they're not gonna, they're gonna be dissatisfied, and you're gonna be the one that's gonna come in and rescue them. So I would definitely make sure that, I guess my question would be, how do you get paid? Do you get paid by hour? Do you get paid by a set rate for your services, or do you do a commission?
I do a billable hour. So I let people utilize my skills as much or as little as needed, depending on where they're at and what their needs are.
Okay. One of the suggestions that came to my mind is just maybe offering that person that you're looking to hire a percentage of what that is. And then what you're charging, you include everything that Nikki's saying, all those extra hours, then you've got some extra money that you could pay someone to do some of that paperwork, the legwork and things like that. And it comes out and they get paid when it's done. You don't have to pay them money out of your pocket that isn't even there yet. They get paid at the end of the deal when you get paid. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Does that even sound feasible to everybody?
My only question would be, because I'm billing hourly and I bill then monthly on kind of an ongoing process, sometimes jobs take a couple weeks, and sometimes, depending on how good of a selection maker you are, they might take a couple months. So then I would wait till the total amount of billed hours and then add that up and then give them a percentage of that amount. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think the person that would be interested in the kind of job that you're presenting would be okay with that. If it's someone that really loves to do it and they don't need this for their income, it's just something that they love to do, they'd be okay waiting until all those billable hours are in, and then they get a cut of that. At least I would.
That's a really interesting perspective, Tina. Thank you. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Sure. I put something in the chat box for you and for everyone else to remind you of, is that those people who spend $10,000 on a closet, right? There are people who will have an organized closet who are happy to spend money on a closet. And just to let you know, the people who spend $10,000 on a closet, they love that closet. So if you're billing under 10 grand, you are still not the cost of a closet. So, you have to take away whatever that barrier is in thinking about your business plan. And the way that I would consider it is I would start introducing some of those concepts. And that is, and here's the next thing, I'm going to type it in, right? I better spell it right then. Hold on. I will type in this and it'll come up on you guys' screen. This is what I would find. I would find your magic words. And those magic words are going to be if, then, but, right? If, then, but, or I would think about what that looks like. So if you want me to do this, this is what it is, but it sounds like you might need a more in-depth item, right? If, then, but. So whatever is the but is where they are. So if then, right, if you just need me to pick out a few items with you for the time that we're together, I can totally do that. But you may want this other spreadsheet.
That's how Michelle Berg's business is set up.
Yeah,
She has, you know, you can get just a basic website with 2 or 3 pages, and you do the rest of the work. And then she lists out the other things that you will have to do in order to make it work. And then, you know, or the complete package, she'll do it all, which is considerably more money. But when you look at what you would have to do and maybe screw it up.
House as well, right?
It's just attic. You can't.
Oh, it's just an attic?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that, you know, the people that would think that they could just pick them out and that's it. That's only half of it. So,
right.
Or a quarter of it, really.
Yeah.
Right. Does anyone else have any comments on this? iPhone 3, it looks like you learned to unmute.
Okay, I think you're good. Just, you won't be able to lock this, but if you just close it, that's fine. Okay, and I'm gonna.
Oh, okay. Well,
okay.
Karen, maybe we got to mute her. Are you here with us?
iPhone
that
3?
sounds like Sarah.
Okay.
Sarah, is that you?
Sir.
Oh, okay. All right.
No.
Karen, I'm going to let you unmute that person.
But, I think it'll work.
What?
Thank you very much, guys. Yep.
Yeah, I can't.
There you go. Okay. So if then but is this, right? And oh my gosh, Jamie, and you're reading that book that came from. What is the name of the book that you just posted up? The Magic Words one?
Whoa, which book?
You just posted it. It's like the magic words of whatever.
Oh,
how to get anything
out of, hold on, let me pull it up.
Yeah, so put that into the sidebar. That's where that comes from, is that book. So I'll give you an example that my daughter uses on my picky eater grandson, right? Instead of saying, you're gonna have to go to bed hungry if you don't finish your food, right? We love that, right? We all heard that, right? If you don't finish your dinner, you're gonna go to bed hungry, right? Threat, 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 threat. And what she'll do is she'll give the if, then, but, right? Hey, if you like going to bed hungry, you can just leave this plate here, but I'm gonna leave it here for another 20 minutes in case you don't like being hungry at bedtime. Right? Very different conversation, because now that person gets to decide, even as a little person, do I like going to bed hungry? Right? As opposed to me threatening them, you better eat this now, right? So it's the if, then, but is the magic set of words, right? If then you only need this much of my service, then this is what you can do. But it sounds like you like a more full service audition. Or it sounds like you might be like me, another magic set of words, right? This is another set of words. You might be like me. And that's also from that book that Jamie is reading. I think she's putting it in.
It's called Exactly What to Say, The Magic Words for Influence Impact by Phil M. Jones. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah. So that book, you might be like me, right? So if, then, but, you might be like me. If then, you just need to be with me for this little bit amount of time. I can kind of give you that direction and we have this time. But you may actually enjoy this larger spreadsheet. It takes me about 5 hours to get done for this amount of tasks. And you might be like me, where you like to have everything organized and beautiful. Because you're Kathy Korgard from Everything Beautiful. Meow.
And you can package it that way.
Right, right. So don't be afraid, but the way to do that is to just start practicing your magic words and just practice them one at a time. I would practice them on the new people that you have coming in. Every contractor knows about what is the cost of doing stuff. And that entire business has gone up by now 64%. So the cost of building from today versus 6 years ago is up 64%. So it is not like you aren't running it high. We just had somebody to put in a new, they put a quote in to just do a bathroom tile, which in the past would have been $1,800 to a contractor, was $38. So that was more than almost 100% double. So Minneapolis in general, the cost of construction here is out of this world. So don't be afraid is what I'm having to say. Was any of this helpful to you, Kathy?
Yeah, it is. I think that I'm never quite sure what's billable, what's not. And because I haven't worked with anybody else who does what I do, you're kind of guessing all the time. And I think that contractors are often trying to talk me down on my pricing. Oh, that's going to be 10 hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Picking out selections for a bathroom is 10 hours, maybe 15. Yeah. And then there's the paperwork stuff. So I shouldn't have to justify, because they're not justifying why a bathroom takes them $35,000. And that's what the average cost of a bathroom remodel right now is, $35,000. And that's a small bathroom.
Remember when it was
master?
15?
Yeah, master's closer to 70.
Right. So there's your ticket. And it's just getting them trained and remind them that, you know, they have markup over you. So whatever you're building, they're building too.
Mm-hmm. So if they're having a $70,000 master bathroom, they certainly want to have wonderful things in it, you know. And that's what you do.
Cheap insurance.
Yeah. But there's also that piece to figure out what is the cost of design. And everybody knows that design has a certain cost with all of building. So you may have some language there. It'll be fun to watch this for you. It'll be fun to watch. Okay. Any last pieces for Kathy? I'm going to have it put in there. If you have other pieces in here about the people that are in class with you, please put them in. I am going to start sharing my screen. We have a lot here today. And we're going to start right here as soon as I get it right. Here we go. Again, I always put my shiny face there because I want you to always think of me smiling at you. Today's content is Bankable. This is understanding the right content. And so some of you are building content based on your business. Some of you are building content based on you. I know that everybody's sick of this word called a metaverse, but this is where we are going. That all people are going to search out all of the pieces of you. They know all of the parts of you that are online. So let them do that, right? So people that are searching out my name will find out that I'm part of this group or that group or this thing or that thing. And that's okay. So you're going to want to, you know, really consider your metaverse. What are you talking about and how you're doing it? Today is very functional in what we're going to talk about, which is one, I also have a little tiny podcast review that's only 30 minutes that we'll send you after this as a quick review. So if you don't get all your notes down, you don't have to panic, because that's the fun of this. And we'll ask you some questions as we go, because that's the benefit of the video portion of this. For those of you who go back and watch them, there's really, I mean, there's a remarkable amount of content that we've all been through that we've all forgotten. So when you're thinking about today, I want you to think about that metaverse. There's a bigger picture about who you are. And the functionality is understanding how to save content in a way that's there. I gave you the superpower. And that's the one you can always quote Miss Mickey on, to go, oh, I'm not here to do content marketing. I'm here to do what my friend Mickey says is intent marketing. That's the prosperity model. That is what you have to really start to understand when building something that has the possibility of having super fan, is intent. What is your intent? And a second brain is there to do that for you. In the invitation, there was the video for this, but it's really to start creating packets of knowledge. So putting in a folder, instead of saying a marketing folder, you would have something that's very specific. The way that I'm going to have you think about it today is really hashtag what's the question. So it's really to say in your content, right, hashtag what's the question. And we'll get into that as we go through here. But again, all of your past lessons are on YouTube. So you can always go back to our content. It's a station. There's now hundreds of hours of them. If you want to be just sweet and go back through, you can just hit that like button on all of them, especially the ones where you look great in, because all your faces are in those YouTube videos. So you can like it just because you're adorable. One of the things that I love about all the people that come through NW2 and Rich Chicks and just kind of come into all of my classes is that you guys are really interesting people. That I think I have to start there. If you've ever met other people from group, that is one of the things that is a constant, is that you as a person are really complex, and that you are interested in a lot of cool stuff. And when we think about content as intent, it's really thinking about what are you interested in? What do you like to talk about? What do you like to dream about? So if we were going to use Mike's example of, I like to paint things that people have a strong heartstring towards, that I want them to have that loving memory with them in their space. That is actually also Janine Pohl's for the Janine photography, right? That's how she changed her whole model as well, of using her photography as art and really saying, hey, how can we build something in your home environment that you love? And that's intent. That's around intent. The intention is love. So if you have something that you're interested in, I would just put it in the chat box. Especially if it's a little random and a little rogue, your people will like that. So if you're interested in, pink bathrooms, we would love to hear that. The biggest question about today is really, how open-minded are you around sharing your knowledge publicly? If that's a 3 for you, then, out of a scale of 1 to 10, I would just put into the chat box, how open-minded are you about sharing your knowledge publicly? Is this a 4? Is this a 6? I'm going to give you a second to let that come in, because I'm not seeing the chat box come up. So how open-minded are you to this, right? I'm a 10. So we've got another person who's a 4, right? Yep, put in, Shireen, yes, I would hope you were a 10. Depends on the item, right? So now we start to see why this is difficult, right? I'm open-minded, or I'm not there because I have something that's in the way, right? So when we start looking at how many of you, oh, I thought it was 1 to 5. Yeah, you're a 10, right? Mostly a 10. Beth, you have a lot of great knowledge, and you've already done some of that sharing. So, how open-minded are you? And Beth, I think you have a lot to offer people on this topic. So I might stop sharing a little bit later and ask you about that, because you built a lot of content for yourself. So YouTube is still the largest, it is the largest database it's the second largest in the world in existence. And a lot of YouTube has gone to AI. So one of the things that you're going to have to understand is that what you're creating in the video portion of it is secondary to what is in the directory behind the video. So yes, I need you to create content with intent, but it is also understanding the creator mode behind it. It is understanding how it is put into the search engine. And where is the search engine searching? It is now searching in the comments section as well. That's why people are saying, hey, like and comment. It is now searching in the comments, and it is searching in the description. And it is searching in the description that you put in behind in the creator mode. But that is the largest change. And that is also the largest change of why YouTubers are calling out for certain words. Hey, if you are looking at this hashtag replay, that's why they're using it. That's why they're asking you for those things in the comment section. If there's something that you thought was interesting, right, put it in the comment section, because that is now of equal weight to that. So that's why comments are a big deal. And timestamps. So if you have something that's over 10 minutes long, you're going to want to put in a timestamp in the description. So that just basically means at 10 minutes and 42 seconds, we're going to talk about this topic. At 11 minutes and 33 seconds, we're going to talk about this topic. That is for the purpose of someone who is scrolling for content, especially if you're doing a DIY or something like that. And hashtags are your best friend. They just are. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So the top 3 things I need you to learn are right now. This next first concept, right? This is the big one. Rethink your posting. And so the way that I want you to rethink your posting is an empty room. And then you're going to fill it with like all of these magic packages, right? So think about a holiday event that you open that door and there's hundreds of boxes of perfectly wrapped boxes of things just for you, right? And they're opening for you. Some are teeny, some are big, some are silly, some are happy, some are miraculous, some are glitter soaked. It doesn't matter what it is, right? But you know that this is the content that we're talking about. Content that is perfectly wrapped and available for somebody is more likely for them to grab. So think about what you're posting as that room of content. And you're going to take and not just put in scroll stuff or filler or all that. We're focusing today only on these wrapped packages that you're going to put in. And the purpose of them is so that someone can feel a specific way. And for those of you who don't know what that is, I gave you a photograph right here of what most people want you to play, right? You want somebody to be like, yeah, that's great, right? This is expansive knowledge. This is the prosperity part of what you're creating, is that somehow you're looking for an experience for that end user. And that end user is looking to connect to something within themselves, not just with your content, but within themselves. So when we talk about what that is, here's your number 2 item, is I need you to rethink the purpose. What is the purpose of the content? When you're looking for content that's bankable, that someone can reuse over and over again, you have to think about the purpose. So I'll give you an example that's kind of random. And it's actually one that Kathy and I had together years ago, which is we both worked at a place together, and we had some content that was the most highly viewed in its category by some enormous amounts. And the topic was how to move a toilet, right? That we had to think about what's the number 1 question that people are asking in construction. And it was, how do you move a toilet, right? What is the purpose? And when you started to look at the reason that piece of content was so popular, it was like tens of thousands of times more popular than anything we had created, because it had the ability for hundreds of thousands of different windows of people to ask the question, how do I move a toilet? can be anyone from who's doing it themselves to somebody who's learning to somebody who's training, right? It's the purpose. What is the purpose of the content that you are creating? If your purpose is to show somebody how to make greens for real, right? Every different person is going to be looking at that. So think about, right, somebody who's learning how to make greens because they want to put them in a salad. You know, what's the purpose? Why do they want to learn that? And cooking greens the old-fashioned way may be something that someone like Jamian, right, who I picked that topic for, has real feelings on, because these were the healing foods that she feels nurture people, right? And
oh, yes, I do.
Yes, you do. And you are so annoyed when people don't do it right.
I'm very annoyed.
Right. So this is the purpose, right? So when we talk about greens, it's not just, hey, I want to put out a piece of content. It is that you have intent, right? I want you to learn this other tool because it will make your life better, right? So when we start looking at that emotional package that someone is getting into, you want them to be sucked into their own connection to the content, the intent of what is there. Number 3 is I would rethink your viewer. On this picture, I put in specifically a little kid who's looking out the window, because that is YouTube's largest new customer. And what is interesting is they have their own station. On the back end, they're going to ask you to put that in. But what we have found from YouTube statistics is, guess what? Kids who are 8 to 12 are watching cooking videos as much as their parents. That they are just as interested in doing art and doing other things. So if this is a meaningful slide to you, remember, I always tell you your shortcut is you can screenshot this slide. So if you're trying to remember the content we're talking about today, you can just take your phone and screenshot in something that is important to you. But I would rethink your viewer, because a lot of times we talk about it from this other way, right? And rethinking that viewer is to really go, who is the person you least expect to be shopping with you? And see if it's interesting to them. I am often surprised at how many people are aligned on a topic, and a topic like how to make something the perfect color, right? Or how to not kill a pythos plant, right? That people are aligned like this. And when you look at your own intent on your own brand, right? That's when everybody in this group actually has the upper hand, is that you've all been doing what you've been doing for a long time. You understand who you are and what you create really well. So what is shareable content? I would reframe it in your head is going back to that room that's full of gifts. And think about the gift you want to give someone. And that kind of narrows it down. And in those gifts, the way we're going to look at that is not for you to hold all this information in your head, but to start sorting it into these named folders, so that you can go, okay, it's not just kitchen, it's how do I pick a perfect sink? Okay, that's a folder. Let me put in all the information around that. It's not just how do I pick a painting, it's how do I pick a painting for someone else that they will love, right? Or what does a commission mean? Or what does a personal chef do? Or what can I expect from starting a conversation with a social media person? Or what is, how do I become more spiritual? Or how do I define spiritual, right? There's lots of other things. So what is shareable content? It is the gift that you are giving. It's what are you going to put in that little box? What are you going to put in that little folder of information? And then you'll build and align your content from there. So again, to remind you what is not content of what we're talking about today, this is an advertisement, right? We see a lot of this out there. Yay, it's called content. It's not, it's an advertisement. Then we have what is called scrolling content, right? That's something that's around that same brand. It's just filler. That's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about bankable content that is of value long-term. And I'm watching Shireen up and down her head going, yes, 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 yes. We don't need more of that. So in that particular brand, right, we have this beautiful match bar. They're lovely. We are sold out. Thank you very much. We are sold out. We have, you know, the things that are there to scroll, to fill in. But when we really needed to talk about that brand, we actually built a totally different blog for them, and really worked at how we would have a long-term conversation with their people, right? What is the intent? And the intent of this particular brand of match bars was, right, giving people a product that was better, who are athletes. And athletes that we had 7, now 9 years of actual scientific data. We had partnered with the university to do that. So that part was great, and we can do that in scrolling content. But the other information that we needed to share with what was the community for that was all the other things that were around their intent. Their intent was to stay not hungry while they're doing amazing things. So that was also breaking down what it is. So we gave you your main 3 already. So if you walk away with nothing else, it's there. The number 1 item, of course, again, that you always get to quote Miss Mickey on, is intent, right? We want that expansive, delicious story of you. And looking at who is your main client, I would pick the people that you love, 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 and you want more of. So if you love, 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 so I'll use myself as an example, right? What's the love, 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 love for Mickey? You could almost guess it, right? I'm always looking to play with someone, right? I want to go, let's go play. Let's go live this world. Let's go play, right? So pick the content, pick the intent, put the effort into the things that are going to be the right energy for you. I'm never going to get tired of, you know, you sending me a picture of chickens in tutus. OMG, I'm going to put that in the chat box because you guys are going to just love it. Chickens in tutus. It's ridiculous. So one of the questions that I have that Jamie put in is, how do I know what's working and what's not? How do I know how to research the right person with proven results? I've yet to see someone that truly has the results that they have done for their small business. I'm lost on who to even hire for this. Here's the thing. It is a storyline. It is that you will be building a relationship with the people that are there. You will grow them through intent. They will know what you have and they will love you. If you are expecting them to lead to a direct sale, there's no media company that's going to say they do that. They're there to hold a conversation. And that's where the bankable part is getting people to align with the greater messaging. It's the social part of the content. It's leading them to the if then, but. If this is what you need, this is, you know, this is where we can go, but you might need something more. Here's what you want. Having, I'll use the example of a chef. Some people, if they're looking for a recipe, that's the one thing, but many of you actually need a chef, and here's what a chef will do. It is giving people the information to make a decision that's bigger is one of the ways that I think you can move forward on that. And we'll open that up. So the description of the class today, I just kind of want to remind everybody, right? That's my choice of, it's mind blowing. If your mind is blown, please let me know. You can put it in there. If you've learned something right away, put it in the chat box. If you've already taken something with you, put it in the chat box. We love to see that. No direct sales, right? But improve the number of the views. Yeah, I'm going to come back to that at the end because I think that's a really key point for Jamie. And if you're learning something, put it in the chat box so that everybody else can pay attention to that thing that you are learning. The second brain is a YouTube video that we have put in, so definitely add that in. Also, when you are looking at it, it's building your capture habit. It's looking at those content folders and understanding how to identify the tags on your existing content. It's looking at what content is already here and then pushing that content to folders. It's harvesting for a purpose. Carolyn, I think this is your big item, is learning to harvest with a purpose, is looking at the question that somebody would have, going through your content and harvesting it specifically to a place that's there. The number one thing for somebody who's building a brand or a legacy or a legend is to really say your brain isn't to hold content. That's also what content is for. Content is there as a strategic partner for vision, voice, and leadership, right? So content is there as a strategic partner, and we are doing content as intent. Content is intent that is strategic. It has vision, it has voice, it has leadership, it has partnership, and it has future timing. So when we start to look at that, that future timing, we're saying, look, this is important now and later. If I read my own slide, there is the YouTube piece. So you can just cut and paste off of that or screenshot this page. Just take your phone and screenshot that page and you can have it with you for later. I think it's a 20-minute video, but it is worth it. It is one of the things that I assign in all the summer cohorts. For those of you who are in summer cohort, you'll get this again. It is a key item in how you actually can build content more efficiently. So hashtag the question, we started with that, is I would base your folders based on hashtag whatever the question is. So if the question is, right, how do I talk to somebody about Instagram, right? How to build an Instagram. Or in this case, I purposely put up this picture of my grandson, who is not this tiny anymore. Sad face, sad face, sad face. But I purposely put it in because you don't see what he's playing with, right? That you see that the little toy chest behind him is empty, right? Hashtag the question, right? So if I were going to look at content that I was going to create on this, if this were my category, right, we would have said, oh, what's a good gift for an infant? Gifts for grandchildren, right? Kids' toy reviews. That's why reviews are such a big deal, is because they're attached to larger marketing budgets. But again, right, what are gifts that I can make for babies, right? And of course, this is DIY gifts for Baba babies. I love being dyslexic. It's super helpful in these slides. What it is not is hashtag cute, right? Hashtag cute doesn't actually get a robot to understand what is in your content. So understanding that hashtag is there, and hashtags were created to answer a question. All of the internet was created to answer questions. Google was posed on answering a question. That's why this old-fashioned thing called Quora, right? Q-U-A-R-A. Quora was invented to be able to answer questions and let all of the people in the world answer it. And then what happens is someone like Google will search all of those responses to bring up what is the question that was asked, and the most appropriate answer is there. So remember, many of the things that are being sought after in the search engines are not just in what you say they are. It is in what other people say they are. If you've been on Amazon lately, it says on the very top of it, it'll give you the keywords that most people are saying about the product. That's your, just go on Amazon and look at something and you'll see that now the reviews themselves are the search engine. So that's why it's so important when we went back to leaving testimonials. If we go back to some of the content that we talked about of why those testimonials have to be worded the way that they have something specific in them. So great price, great this, whatever, the search engine is going to align them. My journal topic for you is right here. I would make a list of the 20 things that you find that are very inspirational about your own work, about things that are related to your work. That this is probably one of the funnest parts of today's activity would be your journal entry. I would find the things that are inspirational to you. I'll use Beth as an example, right? That she likes musicals, that there are lots of things, and she has this huge amount of choreography experience, right? So Beth, if you were going to think about the most exciting thing about a musical, so I'll open it up to unmute. What's your favorite thing about a musical? You got to unmute you.
Oh my God, seriously, about a musical. My favorite, the colors, the movement, the music,
Right.
the excitement of people getting together to share a story.
Right, right. Now, I'm gonna let everybody open up on that moment. Was her first answer, did that make you pause?
Yes.
Yeah. Was it surprising? Was it interesting?
Yes.
Yeah. What was interesting about what Beth just said?
I hadn't thought about all those things that make a musical as a consumer.
Right.
And she is actually doing musicals. And so the things that she loves about it, she's actually done.
And I felt kind of behind the scenes as she was explaining her love for it.
Right, right. I could come into what it was. So Beth, you get an A.
And somebody who loves musicals, and I was searching for a review about seeing a musical, I would understand what she's saying, because I also too have a love for musicals.
Right, right.
I feel the same, even though I don't like
Aladdin.
Sorry.
No, I said FYI, go see Tina and Aladdin if you haven't yet.
Well, who just was in New York? Beth was
me.
You just in New York?
Me.
Oh, you, yes. And what you saw Tina?
I saw Tina, and it was like, I will say that it's number 2 under Aladdin as far as musicals and Broadway musicals. Aladdin, everybody should see Aladdin. I was like a 4-year-old little girl. I seen it 5 days in a row, my first time seeing it, because it was that good. And I was just, I'm never in silence. It was magical. The colors, the dance, the music, everybody, like it, I can't even begin to say what it was. I didn't leave my chair. So
I love it. I love it. So, right, Beth, there's a great example of just what, if you're interested in it, someone else is going to be. So that really is where I would take your journal topic today, is on this one. This particular picture is one that I took for a group I went to go see, the real teacher, the original School of Rock, that he brings out teenagers and gives them their first chance to have a rock concert. And the reason I'm up high in this, taking this picture, is because I was in a cage on top of the stage watching these young people figure out the School of Rock how to be a rock star. And it was just fascinating to watch them do that. So it was fun. It was fun. So again, coaching and consulting is really the largest existing piece. So when we look at coaching and consulting, it is also the how-to. It is also that fine line between DIY and just giving people an opportunity to understand how to do something, hashtag the question, right? That's why we go hashtag the question. People are looking up something because they want to know something. And they're sharing knowledge because they think their friend wants that knowledge. So when you think about coaching and consulting, don't think of it as just being formal of that. I would also go back to this piece. This is where, for those of you who are looking for what's next, here is where you should be, clicking if you want to screenshot this, because this is going to be the largest piece of content that you'll see in the next 10 years, which is, again, how are people going to reuse things that are already here on planet Earth? You're seeing it already. If any of you have been in any city, you have seen the large mass campaign of plastic recycling is a myth, that it is going to be the environmental conversation around DIY. And if you're looking for what's the next wave, DIY is going to change drastically. You're seeing people already do it, right? They're reusing the things that are existing in a home. They're not just digging it out. They're looking to repurpose something. They're looking to change. If they're tearing it out of their bathroom to redo as a bathroom, they're turning it into a child's playhouse, or they're giving it to Habitat for Humanity, or they're doing something else. So it's really looking at that conversation in a way that makes sense. If I were going to have this conversation around new art and old stuff, it would be to say, how do you make your old stuff look new? It is focusing in on one new piece of art makes your old stuff look new. So look at how this conversation is coming in and how does it attach to some of the things that you're doing. Because all of you are super interesting, that's the part where we get to look at that 20. That's the purpose of that, is find out what it is that you're doing that's interesting. Some of you may have watched me travel for a month at a time, right? That is what I do, is I travel for that. It's also called work away. But if you have a hobby that's cool, figure out how you can utilize that. What is that? This is, many of you are actually your own personality. And so when we are looking at you, if we are looking at you as the personality versus the product, it's really understanding legendary. So I made this up as a mock to be funny, but funny, not funny, right? Funny, not funny, right? Welcome to the legendary. For those of you who've hung out with me for a long time, you know that there's always a summer theme. They're always exciting. You're welcome to unmute and talk about your summer theme. But again, right, it's how do you do something that's legendary? If you have something that is creative that you're doing over and over again, that's legendary. We started out this conversation talking about Mike Spig's wins around what happens the third week, right, of May. It's Art-A-Whirl. It's legendary. It is something that's interesting, that has a purpose. Everyone gets there. That's legendary. So when you think about legendary, I would think about this as the conversation for yourself, right? Is why is it that you're amazing? And what are the things that are legendary about you? And that part can be, you know, if we were Kathy, it might be how many amazing bathrooms that she has put together. If you are Janet Mills, right? It is, that girl has seen more hosta than anyone you've ever met, right? That the amount of legendary that Janet is on the topic of hosta, you'll never meet another person who knows more, right? That is legendary. Janet, any chance you know how many issues of that magazine you have done?
Probably 75. It's
Right.
only twice a year, and I don't have a garden because it's on my computer all the time. But I've just this year been going outside and going, So don't tell anybody I have hostas now, and so secret.
Wow, for the first time, right?
because I see gardens that are so, they're like Jamie Ann's food events. They're just like so amazing that it seems intimidating to try to create one because they're, you know, thousands of hours of work. And yeah, but just, I found out that getting out there, I'm proud of this dirt. Yeah, under my nails.
There's something there. There's something there.
Yeah.
If you have a product that is very unique, that is hard to get, it's really talking about what is that, or talking about the everyday of something. For those of you who may have followed Ty, she is one of the 31, I only have 31 spots for buddy calls. So we only have 31 people that I'm willing to do that with. And so those are stories that we build over time. And that is what is there. So this is a picture that she had sent in of her in Dubai, that she is now working exactly what she wished for. She's got more than a 6-figure income, that she has been able to live every dream that she has wanted. And this was one of them, is to be able to work as a digital nomad. And so this is a text that she sent me, right? So when we look at content with intent, right? It is to really look at what are the things that are the showcase pieces of what you're doing, right? How can her story help someone else, right? And everybody wants to know somebody that can do it, because it makes you think that you can do it, because, right, you probably can. The key item in all content, of course, we know this, but it bears being said again, it is you have to drive traffic to that location. You don't get to just create alone in the bathroom here or in the closet. You have to actually post. You actually have to invite people to your content and the people that want that traffic. And I think that's probably where some of your questions are going to be around how to drive traffic. And we'll talk about that when we take off the screen. The purpose of future content. So when you think about that room, right, we're back to that room full of presents. No matter when they get to you, that present is going to be great. So don't put in something that's going to time out, right? We're not going to put a cupcake in that box. We're going to put in the idea of a cupcake that's maybe crocheted and can live there until they find it, right? So you're looking for content that's always the question. So if I had a spiritual question, that question is going to come up all the time. For those of you who answer the same questions all the time, the purpose of your content is so you don't have to actually sit there and answer those questions all the time. So if we were looking at Kathy's business model, it would be to say, or Shireen's would be another one, where the same question is being asked, how do I work with someone like this? That's where I would have put that content. It's a piece of strategy that gives vision, voice, and leadership, as well as partnership to that person. It has an intent. I love talking about these things. These are very important, but it gives you that way to not have to use your time explaining your process or the procedure. So if this is important to you, this is where I would just take your phone up and screenshot it. This concept about grow your plants first, this is about the fact that you've been on a journey, and your journey is monumental. If I were going to write a journal option today that helps you kind of stretch the ideas of today's class, it would be around, right, what would have been helpful for you to know a long time ago? I'll use Beth as a musical person, right? We'll go back to that part of your artistic self, right? What would you have wanted to know as somebody just starting out in musicals, right? So when you start to look at grow your own plants first, you are already grown. What would you have wanted to know when you first started out, right? What would you have wanted to know when looking at a bathroom? What would you have wanted to know about thinking about marketing? What would you have wanted to know about the foods you're eating, or the path that you're taking, or painting, or picking a subject matter for painting? So this journal topic, right, what would have helped you move faster? That is something else. So we started out with this conversation, right? You have a message, be clear on it, and be clear on it in a way that's super helpful. When I first wrote this particular picture, the picture says, I'm breaking up with being broke. I originally wrote that for Rich Chicks 24 years ago. Now it's something different, but it's still the same concept, right? It's really clear what the intent is, right? It's fun, it's light, but I'm breaking up with being broke. It is a very easy way for somebody to understand the secret behind it. But in Rich Chicks, it made it a really clear message, right? I'm breaking up with being broke. Now we're kind of putting it into a whole nother format. When you think about the intent of what you're creating, and for those of you who have known me for a long time, you can see that throughout my work for 24 years, right? Let's find a new way to break up with being broke. For those of you who are working with other people, I purposely put this picture up because I knew I'd see some of these faces today. I don't know if we noticed left in the lower left corner, we see Kathy when she had white hair, which I love. Welcome to being a brunette. But again, sometimes it is the history of you and your body of work. Many of you will remember these times. I'm watching Beth smile because she's been in that room a lot of times, right? Sometimes the capturing and the things that you've created are also to talk about the history of us, of who we are together, of the things that you are creating in community. So for someone like Mike's business plan, it's taking pictures of people who bought things, right? The history of us. When you start to look at your media assets, they are an asset. And it is also a way for you to show the history of us. When I think of Jamien's book of business, right? She's created, I don't know, hundreds of baby showers. She's created maybe hundreds of brunches. Here's another way to kind of put those in a category, how to make a great brunch. This is now a piece of content that's a beautiful package to unwrap because she's got years and years of it. So think about a package to unwrap. Hashtag, what's the question? When we look at this, this is another one that I put up, and this is where I'm going to start to kind of end us and pull us back together. Right? Be willing to put your cape on this topic because you are the superhero. This is from a summer theme, but again, this is always my motto of no 0 days. If you have a goal, if you're trying to reach it, you have to be willing to put your own cape on to your own future. And that is the sparkle encrusted glitter part of making magic, is that you got to get up and put your superhero cape on for your own stuff. And you know, that I really trust everyone here to do. Okay, so here are my last pieces. These are the reminders. This is a great one to do a screenshot on, right? You are a magical person. Can we just agree on that, right? And recording your journey, letting us learn from you, inviting us to an experience because it gives us insight into our own. These are all the packages that I'm asking you to consider. Defining your intent. What is there? You are welcome to quote Miss Mickey every time because that is the prosperity view, is content is just not the same without intent. And when you are looking at how to reach that heartstring, how to build something that is far greater than just a picture on the internet, that you want something that is expansive and personal and endearing and engaging and delightful and that will last the test of time, you must go to intent. And it's not intent of sales. It is intent for our hearts to combine, for us to align, to be together in something that is a little bit more. And then that piece of, right, the functionality. You have to be able to gather information and outline. You have to be able to gather it. Okay, so I'm gonna have us all take a deep breath. Welcome back. That's a lot of content, a lot of content, a lot of screenshotting. Okay, what's the big takeaway? Carolyn, I watched you take a lot of notes. Tell me what your takeaway is. What did you take? And you can just exhale.
My takeaway is that I was able just now to articulate the question that people are, that people are coming to me with and that people are having answered through working with me.
Good. And are you willing to share?
I am. How do I'm stuck on autopilot. How do I live more fully and authentically? Also, another one is I distrust religion, but want to open up my kids to spirit. How do I do that?
Right.
How do I connect with the female face of God is another one. How do I break my soul out of this prison that I've been keeping it in so that it can live with more joy and authenticity? I came up with a whole bunch of them.
Right. These are great. These are great. Anybody want to give feedback on it? Did any of those strike you as a group? And you can also put it in the chat box. You can unmute. You can unmute.
I think they're all pretty good. They're a little long, but especially the one about the soul being in prison, breaking out your soul. And the fact that religion is on the wane, but spirituality is not. And people want to know how they can align with that.
Yeah, I'm with Karen. Shorten them down, but you got the big piece of today, right? Is the content has inspired you to be greater.
I feel like I would watch all those questions that you just asked. I would watch that on YouTube. I would be like, yes, I need more of that one. Oh, I never thought of that one. So,
right. I love it. That's a great takeaway. Mike, I'm coming up to you. We put a couple of good ones in for you. What are you taking away today?
Well, could intent be the same as coming up with your mission, or Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But when you think about mission, mission is also there to describe, right, what's the purpose, right? That's the root cause of your. Do you have your mission memorized?
Well, it's kind of, I have like iterations of it. It's always kind of forming and stuff, but I think, utilizing what attracts me, like signage and architecture and stuff, but creating intent or purpose with it, with trying to connect it with people's intent more and stuff. Because if I just do a painting of a sign and stuff, but it doesn't have intent, it's going to be a lot harder to it's going to be a lot harder to sell the image, even if it's done flawlessly and really well, than something that connects with other people's purpose or story or something like that. So.
Right. And that's intent. So what I wrote out of it was connect the love of place to the love of art. And then you're saying to the love of someone.
Right.
Or something, right?
Right.
Because somebody's going to look at that and go, oh my gosh, that bridge, right? I drove over that bridge 1,000 times and now they want that bridge with them.
Right. Or it represents a part of their life or something that that they didn't remember before, or the importance of it. You know, I think when you mentioned like repurposing things, like the amount of repurposing like old signs or buildings and stuff, there's people are kind of valuing their community's histories more. So I think a lot of what I got from people looking at my work is it reminded them of the history of their communities and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think that actually, I would find that fascinating. I bet you get some thumbs up from this group on that.
Yeah.
Is the history of the sign, the history of, right, the trailhead or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Beth, what are you taking away today? She's learned to unmute. Perfect.
And I learned to unmute, right. Actually, it's opened up other things for me because I, during COVID, and I'll try and speak quickly, I wasn't doing theater or massage therapy. And so I started studying, well, I'll just send you the website. I started studying with consent and boundaries. We're dealing with so much of it, both sexually and racially for women, particularly in theater and on TV sets and stuff like that. So I started studying something that's it's working with how to teach intimacy for theater and how to be able to talk to each other about difficult subjects so that we can tell these stories more safely. And for some reason with you talking about this, and there's a whole New York based program that is difficult to get into. And I've been very frustrated because I want to create something for the Twin Cities. So it's a big thing that I've been thinking about for over, the whole 2 years of COVID. If you kind of look at the website, you can get a peek of what it's about, but it's making me realize how I need to work, come up with words. And intention is a huge word. Intention and consent is, there's all sorts of stuff. So you cracked open that thing again where I'm like, oh, I got to start doing this. I got to get back on the wagon because I stepped off because of just exhaustion from what COVID has done. So
I can't believe you waited an hour and 37 minutes to reveal that.
The big reveal. I sort of, yeah, whatever. I didn't know where this class was going. I haven't been talking to anybody about, so it's all stuff. So yeah. So
yeah, that website is great. That website is great. I'm looking at it right now. It is fantastic.
Okay. Well, it's the beginnings, and it's got all the content that I need, but there's need for maybe certification, but not really. There's a whole argument about it, and I just think the Twin Cities needs their whole thing. And I also really, really want to have people of BIPOC community involved in it, so that we are building a stronger storytelling community in the Twin Cities for all. For lack of better words, just races and sexes and genders, and so it's a whole thing.
Okay, all together.
All together, right? We'll group clap for that.
I have a lot of work to do to get these out there, but you'll see.
Yes, I think it looks great. But that is wonderful. Okay, Jamie, and we had some questions for you on that are here. What are you taking away from today's content?
Okay, so this is the second time around for this and for this one. And I got the stuff. I got the goods. Yes. I have the content. I have the thing. I know my brand very well. I know my story. I know that the question that I know that just like I ask each of my clients, what do you want to feel at the end of this meal? How do you want people to feel at this meal? I know that I want my media and my content to look that way. When I do post, it does look that way. When I do put it up, it's just that consistency. And I think what I take away most is that this is just not, I'm very competitive, and I'm not very good at saying I'm not very good at something. And knowing that I'm not very good at it is that I really just need to figure out how do I find the right person, because I don't think that I've found the right person to two things. I don't know if I trust enough to give all my content to someone, and then trust them enough to execute what I need to what I want to show, and then even being confused at who to pull in or what to say to them to hire them or to get them there.
Right, right. Well, I think I almost would have started with the question, hashtag the question, how do you want to feel at this end of this meal? I mean, I think there's a whole journey you could take us on with that no one else is. Not just like hashtag, what am I cooking, right? But it's really hashtag, how do you want to feel at the end of this event? Because that is what you do, right? Is food experiences. And that would set you apart from anyone else. And I'm watching people shake their heads in yes. So we know we're on the right track. But that question, I would leave it be front and center. How do you want to feel at the end of this experience? And you and I have been to some of these experiences together that you've created, right? So I'll use the picnic one, right? That it's this outdoor event, right? And that you have a theme around it, and there's lots of other people there. Jamie and will do a table at a larger event, right? And you have a way that you want people to be, right? And then when you think about that, do you have a process of how you think about that? Okay.
I do have a process of how I think about that. It starts with like, one, I start with the people who have been my lifers and I've been around, and I say, okay, like, what would make you feel more special this year? Like, what do you want to feel like at the end of this year? And then they instantly start rattling off things to me. And I already have something in my head, and usually a couple of those people will say those. So this year, it really was like 3 people who said they wanted to have a dance party. And I said, in my head, I was already thinking 80s or 90s music. And actually what was in my head was Run DMC.
Right.
And then, so now we're having it's an 80s theme party is what it is. But even from that, then as I start to create and I think about, these would be the normals 80s things. But me, I've been on a mad hunt for like old boom boxes that I've gutted out and spray painted all white. And they're going to be a part of the centerpieces and that type of thing. So it starts usually from pulling from a million ideas, because every day I wake up and I have a journal with 150 of ideas of dinners that I could do. And then I ask my clients or the people who have had the experiences, what do they want in this next experience? And then I start the creation from that. I think that I probably close 99% of who comes to me.
Sure.
When they look at an experience I know that when people haven't been there and they've just seen the stuff, or even if I think about like Dinner en Blanc, when I post something, there's 100 people that are saying, listen, I wasn't at her table, but I felt the experience. Or I wanted to be there, or or if I put the content up, that's kind of what's said. And I just really I just know that I'd probably increase my income probably by a good another 6 figures if I had content consistently that match. Because closing it, that's the easy part for me. Executing what it is, I've probably thought of 150 weddings, bridal showers, divorce parties, anything that y'all tell me, I have a creation for it already. And I know the meal that we're going to do. So closing the deal is not the problem. It's getting the consistency of the residual people to keep coming back.
And I think it's really deciding about the packages in that room, right? Is sometimes they're just a little package, sometimes they're a big package. So I think when you're working with your media person, it's really, I would take that concept there to go, we're going to showcase 24 things this year and that's it. And then really focus on the gifts that you're going to give around that. And really go, okay, we're going to showcase, how do you want to feel on a boat party, right? How do you want to feel on this thing? And then we can lead them back to the actual item. Because last year you bought some other things. So, right, I would look at, right, how to have a party at a bar, right? how to
have a party on a farm.
How to have a party on a farm, right? So, you know, there's other ways. So focusing on that content that is intent, and the intent for you is always, there has to be an experience. Mm-hmm. There has to be an experience. All right. Janet, what are you taking away?
A struggle and an easy thing. So the easy thing would be, so I used to think it would be hard to hire someone just for a few hours, but I'm remembering smelling this lemon verbena soap by L'Occitane. I'm not sure that's how you say it. And I was like, I have to find this. So I looked it up and I went to Galleria, and there was a little shop that sold it. And the clerk was like, the way she described it, her real full-time job left her, I pictured like a burnt out piece of charcoal. But what she said is, my usual job is just stressful. But I come here and work because it's so lovely. And so if I can see people helping everybody for a few hours because they really like you and your product and it's a treat for them. And what I learned from Mickey at the beginning is you have to find someone who loves doing that. Like the thing that we're not good at, that's their jam. And one thing 10 years ago, I struggled with doing my invoices. Remember that? I wouldn't do them for months. And then the person who paid them also would set them on the counter for months. So all we did was get together at a coffee shop by her architecture firm. I brought the envelopes and stamps and we did all the bills and it was fun. So if I could think of more fixes, that'd be good. The hard part is having people believe and letting them buy into how much it costs to do what we do. I learned a lot from Kathy today. I'm always inspired by everybody, and Jamie and always. That some people aren't our customers. Some of my customers are depression era, and $30 is a lot of money to them, but they'll spend thousands on hostas. So it's getting that delight in spending to, for me, it's getting a page with some words on it and creating something beautiful, and they're always really happy. But the sales part is hard. That's all. That was a lot of thoughts.
Right. Jamie's got her hand raised.
So Janet,
yeah,
I'm gonna tell you something I just learned and I've been using it. You know, it kind of worked a little bit at the beginning of this month because bills are due and stuff. I hate paying bills. I have the money for the bills. I have the ability to pay the bills. Okay. I go through a thing. They will sit there. There's no reason for them to wait till they say, you know, like the red letters that come up, like you need to pay today. There's no reason for that, right? But that's who I was. But I have put in on each of my bills on my budget board, I put thank you. And my reason why, Mickey taught me this, my reason why I'm thankful for that bill, because I created the bill, right? It's because I like for me, I hate it when my parents growing up would say, turn the damn lights off. I hated that. And I said, when I get older, if I don't want to turn off the TV, the lights and everything, I will not. As a matter of fact, my closet light is on right now and I'm going to be gone about a week and a half. Okay. But the damn Duke energy bill comes and I'm like, I'm angry, but I'm bored. So I literally have written thank you and not just thank you, my why of that I'm thankful because I like these things. I like to be able to I like knowing that if my car gets hit, it's going to get fixed or I'm going to have a rental car. So I'm going to pay the insurance bill. I like having a roof over my head. So I might want to pay the mortgage or the rent and be thankful that thankful in two ways. I'm thankful that I'm able to create the bill and I'm thankful that I have the ability to pay it. And so it has been a little less stressful, like that feeling, that not feeling. And I paid every bill yesterday and this morning. Every bill. I haven't paid every bill on time in probably 15 years.
Oh, thank you, Jamie. And I love paying bills. It's a confidence issue. Well, now we got it right. I send the invoice and I get paid instantly. But it was a confidence issue, and this is so much money, they're never going to want to pay it. So I wouldn't generate the invoice. That's what it was. But we got through it, right, Mickey?
You got through it. Well, here's the piece that they're similar but different, but I want to go back through because the Jamian's lesson and your lesson are very similar. But I want to go back to the Jamian part because, and then I'm going to go back to yours. So the part about bills, we all get bills in the mail, right? They come and you're like, and some people have a little bitch fit about it where they're like, ugh. And I remind everybody that there is not a single bill for most people that comes to your door that you didn't ask for. That you asked to have insurance. You asked to have the ability to swipe your credit card. You asked for these items. So energetically in prosperity, when you yell at it at the door, when it comes in, you are constantly building a mentality that says everything I'm asking for, I'm going to yell at it when it gets here. It just doesn't work. Energetically, it only builds a deficit. It builds an emotional deficit and it'll build a physical deficit. So when you look at the bills that are coming in, every single one is one that you asked for in some way. So it is to look at that bill and not just say, thank you for the ability to have a bill or thank you for being able to pay the bill. But it is that second step that she talked about. You need to understand the why, Thank you. So I'll give you my water bill this last month, right? We have had so many people showering at our house and I have an 82-inch tub. So we have spent 4 days digging in the dirt, redoing this huge project. And I have an 82-inch tub. It takes 100 and some gallons of water to fill. And everyone in my family needed that tub full of bubbles because they love Auntie Mickey's tub. So I had to go through hundreds and hundreds of gallons of water washing my family. So when we look at that water bill, right, I'm going to write the thank you. Thank you for letting me share my water with my family in the best. I had asked my niece, I said, how was your tub? And she goes, oh my gosh, I took pictures. Please don't send them to me. Right? But having a giant bathtub that 2 people can sit in as your regular bathtub and fill it with bubbles till you're the moon, it's just fantastic. And now you don't ever mind paying that bill. So what it did is it's changing something as simple as paying a bill and not arguing with it when it gets here, but to go, oh, okay, I got it. We got to figure out how much is in the bank. Sure. But the fact is that energetically, you have to shift this so that you are in line positively with the things that you are asking for and thanking them when they show up and recognizing the gift that they were. And
same with invoicing.
I'm thankful. Side of that, like, how do we not feel guilty for invoicing and not wanting our customers to cringe and not feel that we gave them so much value that they're like, I'll write this twice.
Oh, let me tell you. First of all, is just don't give a fuck that they have a problem with it because they asked for your bill. They asked for your bill. And so that's how you get the tub and keep your lights on how you want to, or whatever you like to eat, or they asked for that bill, but being thankful that you were given the gift to be able to bill somebody, that you were given being thankful that the universe gave you that customer to bill, to give you the ability to pay the bill. So it's like this whole turned around thing. But honestly, is you have, especially when we are working for ourselves, is people are going to have sticker shock sometimes, and sometimes they're not. I mean, that's just kind of thing, but that you not holding that on and taking that in. Somebody just told me that they want me to do a 2-day festival and that my price was too high. And my price, I actually came down about 20,000. And so I just messaged back and said, here's the breakdown of everything that you get. She messaged me back and said, can you give me an hour number? I said, no, I cannot give you an hour number. I can give you a project-based number because I'm not sure totally how many hours that it's going to take. But if you want me to take a portion, I will break this down. And then I went back and I calculated my hours in the portion and I sent it to her. Guess what her invoice still looks like? the same price, more than what I told her originally, because now I'm billing you at an hour. And although I may not get the deal or something, I could care less, because first of all, I was blessed enough to have them come to me. Secondly, she's not the only person. Thirdly, I have a shitload of other things to do. So it almost becomes irrelevant. You still have a job to do with the price on it. Nobody, when you walk into Macy's or Dillard's or wherever not, you know that there's a different price tag than Walmart. So therefore, Macy's does not sit around and say, oh, I'm afraid to charge you $200 for the same Woco bra as Sears has for $22.95. They don't care. It's $200. You can go to Sears. So I'm this price, or you can go to whomever else it is that it is. And it's really, for me, that simple.
Right. And remember that the universe is going to always provide you with what you need. And so you don't need to feel afraid that you're not going to like my price, because then you're not my customer. You're freeing me up to take on somebody else.
Yep.
Yes, but let me give it to you something that's a little bit easier. Can I give you another way to look at it?
Always.
Let's give the Mickey way. It's super fun to create super cool shit. That's not free. Do your best. You know, just do your best. Do your best, give your best, bill your best. Yeah.
Well, and trust that you're worth it. I mean, yeah. once you let go of that, oh my God, they're not going to come because it's too expensive fear. It's amazing what shows up at your doorstep. When I finally gave that up for the price of my massages, I'm an expensive massage therapist. People who come to me spend good money because I spend good time with them, and it's more worthwhile than just going to a massage envy place for a quickie. Okay. So you get more for your money. And I'm finally more proud of it. And I stopped apologizing, and I stopped doing discounts, and I stopped doing coupons even. It's like, if you're going to come here, you're coming here because you're getting something that's special and very specific. And if you don't want to come, that's okay. You don't have to come. I can't, there's other people out there that will do the work that you might be needing. So when you start to trust that, it's amazing that they keep showing up. And it's like, if you build it, they will come. You know, if you haven't seen Field of Dreams, watch that. That's an old movie that tells the story.
Right. And the other thing that you wrote in there, when we first did that business model for you, for your massage, it was also to have a body that can stay in motion. That was you doing a lot of dancers and things like that. So you also have a body of knowledge on the body.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's like, you're not just getting a massage, you're getting this, you know, the coaching and a lot of specific how to take care of yourself when I'm not around to rub it out. How can, you know, so I'm always giving people other tips. It's not just, so they pay for what they get. And I haven't ever had a complaint. They just either keep coming back or they don't come back if they're not happy, which is kind of rare.
Right. Okay. Karen, any last minute pieces of what you're taking away?
Well, it's been very interesting. I was thinking about what is different about what I do. And what is different about what I do is that I'm not an ordinary coach. I have very specific training in using art to help people get through things. And I really haven't pushed that. So I think I need to.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are also working on an art project, an art thing. Do you want to tell anybody about that?
Which one?
With Marnie.
Yes, with Marnie. Well, I take classes from my mentor, and she always has some amazing ideas. She has a special, every once in a while she'll have a free workshop. Like tonight she has one of her programs is called Story World, and it's for writers. And she's letting people come in to the first class, go to the first class for free. And then if you want to and a lot of people are already signed up for it. So there's, you know, there are people who have already paid, but it's an investment. You know, you have to figure that out. And it's, I've taken that class and it's a lot of fun, but it's a very different way of learning, of writing. Very different.
Yeah. So definitely put that in the chat box too.
Yeah.
As always, I want to just remind you there are journal topics that you can do on today's topic. You can always reach me. I am around. That we do have small business cohort. I'll be closing that out here in the next few days. We start next Monday. So if you are joining, please, you know, we'll see you there. Jamie's coming on for a second summer because she grew so much last year. But the thing that I want you to take away from today is that word intent. Any words of advice for me? Feedback, love nuggets, anything, thumbs up, good. I am honored as always to be on this journey with you. You are important to me. That's why I'm, you know, hunting you down. Because you're lovely. Because you're lovely. We love having you.
Fun seeing
right.
you again. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. See you. Bye. Thank you. Have a great day. Glad you're here.
Bye.
Bye.
So there we are.
Yep, you can hit unrecord.